I never thought my life could change in just 2 weeks. My name is Akello. I'm 13 years old and I've spent my whole life in Kenya. My parents are tour guides. They take visitors to see the beauty of our country, lions in the savannah, flamingos at the lakes, the Great Rift Valley. Every evening, they come home with stories of their adventures. I always listened, wishing I could see more of the world beyond our small village. Then, one day, a family from America arrived. My parents were their guides, and they brought them home for tea. That's how I met Olivia and Emma. They were sisters around my age with hair that caught the sun and eyes full of wonder. At first, I was shy. Their accents were different, their clothes looked like something from the movies, and they had gadgets I'd never seen before. But Olivia smiled at me and said, "Wanna play?" From that moment, everything changed. We spent every free minute together. I showed them how to climb the mango tree in our backyard, and they taught me how to play tag with silly rules that made us laugh until we fell to the ground. We ran through the fields behind my house, barefoot and free, and danced to my favorite Swahili songs under the moonlight. I learned so much about their lives. They told me about New York, the tall buildings, the snow, the fast trains. I couldn't imagine it. I told them about my school, my favorite books, and how I dreamed of becoming a writer one day. One afternoon we sat by the river, our feet dangling in the cool water. Olivia turned to me and said, "Akello, you should come to America. You'd love it there." I laughed. The idea was so impossible that it felt like a joke. "I don't even have a passport," I said. "People like me don't go to America." Emma frowned. "Why not?" I shrugged. "It's just how things are." The days passed too quickly. One night, as we sat outside under the stars, Olivia looked up and sighed. "I don't want to go home," she whispered. My heart squeezed tight. I didn't want them to go either. I had never had friends like this before, friends who made me feel seen, understood, friends who felt like sisters. The next morning, we went to the airport. I tried to be strong, but when Olivia hugged me, her arms tight around my shoulders, I felt tears burning in my eyes. "I'll miss you so much," she said. I couldn't speak. I just nodded, afraid that if I opened my mouth I'd start crying. Emma held my hand, her face red and puffy. "Promise we'll see each other again," Olivia said. I nodded again, even though it felt like a lie. How could we ever see each other again? They lived on the other side of the world. For weeks after they left, I felt a deep emptiness. The fields were quiet without their laughter. The house felt dull. Every night, I looked up at the stars, wondering if they were looking at the same sky. Then one afternoon, everything changed. My father came home with a strange look on his face, clutching a letter in his hand. My mother was reading it, her eyes wide. "What is it?" I asked, my heart pounding. "It's from Olivia and Emma's parents," my father said, his voice full of disbelief. "They want us to visit them in America. They're offering to pay for everything." I stood there, frozen. It felt like a dream, a wild, impossible dream. "Is it real?" I whispered. My mother smiled, her eyes misty. "It's real, Akello." The next few weeks were a blur of excitement and preparation. I got my first passport, and when the day finally came to leave, I felt a mix of fear and wonder. The plane ride was long, and when we finally landed in New York, my heart was pounding so hard I thought it would burst. And there they were, Olivia and Emma, standing at the airport, waving frantically. They ran to me, their faces full of joy, and I ran to them, feeling like I was in a dream. We hugged so tightly that it hurt, and I realized something important. True friendship isn't limited by borders or oceans. It's about connection, about finding people who see you for who you are and love you just the same. That trip changed my life. It showed me that the world is bigger and kinder than I ever imagined. And sometimes, if you're lucky, the friendships you make can bridge the distance between two very different worlds.